An alleged source close to Jamie Foxx is claiming some shocking breaking news that the actor was left paralyzed and blind from a blood clot in his brain after receiving the Rona poke. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore. This one's nuts. And look, take this with a grain of salt. I can't tell if this is legit or if this is some political maneuvering. I'm leaning towards the latter, but let's break down what is being alleged and now what is being picked up on a lot of sources. Radar Online, OK Magazine, MSNBC now has all sharing this source. And this source comes in from AJ Benza, who was on the Dr. Drew podcast. Now, let's go straight to the source. Here he is, AJ Benza, speaking to Dr. Drew about what actually is happening to Jamie Foxx. Let's hear it out and then we'll talk.
I think that this ties into the Jamie Foxx theory. I worked my butt off to get a story about what happened to Jamie Foxx, because it was all baloney what they were reporting. He's playing pickleball. He's responding on Instagram. No, he's not. People do that for you. It's all lies. I had somebody in the room who let me know that Jamie had a blood clot in his brain after he got the shot. He did not want the shot.
Careful.
But the movie he was on, he was pressured to get it. This movie he's doing with Cameron Diaz. And I'm thinking, is that why he blew up on the set a week before this medical emergency happened? Is that why he fired 3 or 4 people because he just had it with these mandates? I don't know. But what I found out from the man in the room was that the blood clot in the brain caused him at that point to be partially paralyzed and blind. Because if you read into what they were saying early on, he's communicating with us. That doesn't mean talking. That could be anything. It could be, writing, sign. I know those little code words. And then
Dr. Drew's like, let me remove myself from this speculation.
You tell me your father's playing pickleball, give me a break. I don't know. There's a great shroud of secrecy around Jamie Foxx. He's probably the most multi-talented person we have in Hollywood. But even TMZ is not reporting this. And I know TMZ's got sources in hospitals who give them information, whether it's legal or not. But they're not. Mike Tyson got close. A week after I broke my story on my show, Mike Tyson said that Jamie had a blood clot in his brain. No one's gone that far to say that yet. I think Mike did, and he probably got a phone call.
Hold
and
on,
said,
AJ. Let me sort of step back a little bit from what you're saying and just say, look, blood in the brain is a cerebral bleed. It's not a stroke. A stroke is a blood clot in an artery to the brain that cuts off the blood supply to the brain and the brain dies. So we're talking about, and it's been widely known that he had a stroke, right? I mean, they've said stroke many times. Yeah. So it's to say it's a blood clot in the brain is it's a stroke. It's a blood clot in an artery that cuts off the supply. That part of the brain is dead.
Okay.
And it has very serious consequences. It depends on which artery and what the anatomy of that artery is, to what parts of the brain, whatnot. But it is not something that, let's put it this way. Is he still in the hospital? Is that what I'm supposed to believe? And playing pickleball? Is that?
I don't think it's all baloney. It's all baloney. The daughters are doing the speaking for him. His oldest daughter, Corinne, is doing.
I mean, it's also their business, AJ. I mean, it's their dad. So look, here's what's weird. Like, because of the poke, that's where this is obviously getting more political. Does the poke cause strokes? Do we have proof of that? I'm not saying it's impossible. Some of you are going to just, Andy, come on. This isn't about the poke. It's about him blaming the poke without really any clear evidence or saying it, or the family saying it. That's my problem here. But yeah, this is obviously now becoming a lightning rod online, as you can imagine, of people on both sides, using it to their advantage to argue about the poke and then in general. And I'm just like, what's interesting though is Dr. Drew, watching him sort of respond to this, because it is interesting because the daughter says he's out of the hospital and playing pickleball. And now AJ's trying to claim that's nonsense.
She said he's been out of the hospital for weeks, but that's not true. He's at a very good hospital in Chicago who specializes in this kind of rehab. And every friend who comes out, whether it's Kevin Hart or Nick Cannon or whoever, all says pray for Jamie. He's got to get through this. Nobody comes out with great news. It's always somber. So he's in a bad spot, unfortunately.
Let's try to, I always have to dismantle the medical reporting because it is so freaking inaccurate and pathetic. So let's talk about pray for Jamie. What are we praying for? What exactly do people expect? If there's a stroke, that brain is gone. Now, if he wants to walk again, I think that's a thing to pray for. That he could. It depends what the distribution of this thing is.
I mean, geez, what incense pray, like, for his well-being and for the family's well-being, and that he gets to pull through this and figure it out. I mean, people have come out of strokes, doctor. I mean, not come out. You have ramifications from it.
But play the piano again and that kind of thing. I mean, oh boy, I mean, that's it has to be a very small stroke, and hopefully that's the case. I mean, hopefully it is. And then I heard a rumor that he may have had hypertension. Did he have high blood pressure also?
Notice Dr. Drew's not taking the bait about it's because of the poke. That's why I wanted to give you the whole context of this, because everyone's just going to take this headline. And of course, it's because of that, suffered after that. Well, he may have taken it, and that may have been part of it, but Dr. Drew's not even taking that bait. And Dr. Drew takes a lot of bait. I'm not a huge fan of Dr. Drew. I'm going to be honest. I don't like what he said about Britney. He worked with TMZ very closely. For a celebrity doctor, he reveals a lot about people.
He did have high blood pressure. He's been on those meds. And, my buddy who died was also a black man. And I feel like, you would know this. Don't they have more of a... Don't black folks have more of an issue with hypertension and high blood pressure?
Yes, and it's a little often more difficult to treat, especially in the men. And it's a little kind of a different quality to it. Yeah, it's a little bit of a different thing. And if they don't stay on it and take the medicine diligently, they have strokes. I mean, that's just what happens. So then my brain goes, well, it's also possibly a post-COVID phenomenon, right? I mean, as you found out, COVID is horrible. I don't know if you had long COVID or not, but let's talk about your condition before we go all the way down the Jamie Foxx sort of rabbit hole. So you got, in spite of a vaccine and a booster and natural immunity, you got it again.
Well, I got it first without the shot.
Well, all right, we're not going to get into the shots, because again, and the reason I'm not shoving it aside, because I just don't, I'm not smart enough to figure it out, and I sure as hell don't trust Dr. Drew to be the person to educate me on it. Like I said, could it? Sure, or could it not? Who knows? But that's now the report. Now, if this is true, and this comes out from the family and everywhere, this is going to be massive news. If it really, and especially if it's because of the poke, this is going to become the case that everyone's going to now point to. Told you so, blah, blah, blah. See, it was all bad. Da, 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 da. It's going to be, and again, I'm ignorant to this, guys. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about it. I want to focus on what's wrong with Jamie Foxx. That's what I'm trying to keep this video on, because there is some serious mystery to it. I agree with AJ's take that when celebrities come out of that room, they're always somber and very vague, and they don't really get into it. And it's like, no one really wants to tell us. And to be fair, it's up to the family to tell us. I do send them prayers, good energy, love. Like, this is rough. It's clearly serious what's happened to Jamie Foxx. And Jamie Foxx is a massive talent. I'm a big fan of Jamie Foxx. I wish him all the best, his family all the best. I hope this is true. I hope this is all just clickbait nonsense. Again, this is gossip. Who knows? We don't know for sure. But here's Dr. Drew, a medical, expert person, Dr. Drew, out there speaking to another source who alleges, and that's what's coming out of the world. So what do you guys think? Again, I don't want to get stuck in the political pokeness of it all, but what do you guys think? Do you buy this headline? Do you not? Do you think it's that? Do you think it's something else? In the meanwhile, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for all alerts, smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and let me know your thoughts on it. Again, I don't know. What do you think? Tell me down below. Oh man, it's always annoying when we talk about these things. But let's do it. But you can see it down below. Also, join us live. We'll be celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the Johnny Depp verdict. Hope to see you guys there.